So I'm walking. I'm walking back from my job interview. And of course, they made sure that I don't have any money to get back. But I made sure I got there. Because as a New Yorker, I don't mind walking. I know I'm in the South and people probably looking at me like, oh my gosh, she's walking. What's wrong with her? She must have lost her mind. She must have went crazy. But where I'm from, people walk. I done walked from 14th Street to 59th Street one time. I done walked from 96th Street to 125th Street one time. I done walked from 125th Street to the South Bronx one time. I know it's strange to most Southern people, but he's from Jersey, which is pretty much the country, if you ask me. But as a New Yorker, honey, we're no strangers to walking. It's not a big thing. That's how you get where you gotta go. Nobody always wants to get on a train. Sometimes you just walk. It's easier that way. But what bothers me so much about him and these people in general is that he just every time I try to go get a job, go and apply for a job or go to a job interview, he always has the biggest attitude. But whenever we don't have any money, he sit there, and yes, I got the sweater on because I'm going to sweat this weight off. Might as well keep my sweater on so I can sweat. Every time we don't have any money, he talk about how I'm not doing anything, I'm not contributing anything, I'm not helping with anything. And this man is a grown-ass man with no ID, so he can't work. How convenient is that? You know what I mean? And then he lives he's from Trenton. He's not from Georgia, so he can't just go down to the birth certificate office and get a birth certificate. He don't have a birth certificate. He don't have an ID. He don't have a social security card. He just don't have. I'm sitting here, a whole targeted individual. I have my birth certificate. I have my social security card. I have my ID. I know they probably wouldn't like the fact that I have my ID, my social security card, and birth certificate, because it probably would make things a little more difficult for me and make it harder for me to get things done. But I'd have my stuff, but conveniently he don't have any of these things, so he can't work. And I told him, why don't you just go back to your hometown? Because I've done it before. Like, there's been plenty of times where went back to where I'm from just to do paperwork, just filed my taxes, and I came on back. You don't have any permanent place to live. You don't have a permanent job. You don't have anything to do. You don't have nothing going on. So I said, why don't you just go back to where you're from and start working on getting all that stuff done? So I'm like, dang, is he allowed to go back where he's from? I mean, do these people have a V for vendetta against him up there? What's going on? Is he scared to go back to where he's from? Somebody trying to kill him? I don't know. I personally don't give a damn at this point. But I believe that it was just all set up that way so it could be like, oh, I can't work. Oh, I don't have any identification. I can't get a job. So I'm like, okay, well, why you can't work at the car wash? My father tried to help him get a job. Oh, they don't pay enough. I'm like, okay, well, getting paid something is better than not getting paid anything. Because in order for you to get an apartment, you have to have credentials. You got to have pay stubs. You can't just, no matter how much money you make doing whatever it is you're doing, if you don't have any paperwork, your ass can't get an apartment. No pay stubs, nothing. You can't even get an apartment in the worst neighborhood if you don't have any kind of identification. But of course, conveniently, he just don't got no identification. But then he gives me a hard time every time I want to get a job, and he act like I'm inconveniencing him or inconveniencing us because I want to try to go work. But then when we don't have any money, I'm not for not working. You know? So yeah, just narcissism. Ridiculous amounts of narcissism. All these white car. I usually don't give a fuck about stuff like that, but only because they're doing it. I'm just gonna go ahead and acknowledge it because I'm walking. Now, okay. I feel like I'm in the right direction. Now, which way do I turn? Do I make a left or do I make a right? I'm gonna ask one of these fake nice people